Hey everybody, it's Mike with Monkey Fab. Today we're going to learn how to put wastegate provisions on these cool little 3-inch V-band to T4 stainless steel, cast stainless steel elbows. I don't sell this as a kit, basically because each time I do a pair, it's at least 4 hours of labor. Generally, they're not going to want to spend, you know, what I'm going to have to charge for 4 hours of labor plus parts to put this kind of thing together. So, you know, I figured I'd make a video and show you how to do it. So it's really not terribly difficult, and if you have that time to spend and want to do it, I think this is a job that you could take on yourself. I'll show you all the details. All the stuff I have here, these are 44 millimeter tile, tail tile, whatever, style blow-off valve flanges. And these are CX Racing 3-inch T4 elbows. All this stuff can be purchased from my good friend Varin over at vsracing.net. So you can just go right there, buy all this stuff, and usually also when you buy the blow-off valves, these flanges come with it. So that'll save you some money too. If you already have the blow-off valves, you can just use those flanges. All we're really going to do is adapt these guys to this, using some 1-inch nominal Schedule 10 stainless steel pipe. Show you how I do this, and hope you follow along. And that way, if you need to do this in the future, you can just pull up the video and you'll be ready to go. You can tell it's like used and beat up, but that's alright. We're gonna give it some love, make it come back to life, look fancy. I'm just going to go ahead and make a mark right at 1 3/4 of an inch. I'm tired. You have to bear with me. You just have to bear with me. Stay with me. Alright, so we got this angle on the bandsaw at 15 degrees. So it's going 15 degrees. We have our mark is on the short side of the tube. Of the pipe. Sorry, this is pipe. I can call it pipe instead of tube. So this is going to be 1 3/4 inch on the short side, and we're just going to go ahead and cut that. And then we're going to put this back to 0, and we're going to measure the same 1 3/4 of an inch, and we're going to cut it straight. Got these cut. It's like I said, 15 degrees, and they'll just go right on these guys like this. So if you want it more flat, then you need a steeper curve, so go maybe 20-ish degrees or so. And if you want it flatter, then you can go from 0 to whatever. But it's nice to have a little bit of kick down. It gets it out of the way of the turbo. Now all we gotta do is just deburr these guys up, and also we have to bevel them. So they're the outside diameter is bigger than the receiver in there. So it's best practice to put a pretty good bevel on this, and that way you can kind of, you know, get penetrated through there. I don't like to weld with a lot of heat on these V-bands because it's all stainless and they want to warp and move a lot. So that is basically it, you know. Throw. Are we gonna see? Are we gonna? So there's a few different ways of punching holes in these guys. I think the best way, and by far probably the cleanest way, would be to actually just do it on a mill if you can make some kind of a V-band clamp. And I've done that before with a drill press. I basically made a jig that would hold this on a V-band, and then I used a hole saw to punch it through. That's pretty painful too. I don't think, okay, I don't want to say that. I do believe that if you tried to hole saw this out by hand, it's going to be pretty painful, and it's going to hurt. So the last option is plasma cut it. Just plasma cut it out. So that's the option we're going to do. So basically we're just going to throw these guys on here. What I usually do is, for consistency, I'll just take my thumb and I'll put it down, and I'll push this right up against my thumb, and I'll try to get it so it's, you know, straight up and down, in line and centered, and then I'll just go in there and I'll just take my marker and mark the inside of it. If I had a marker. You can always just use magnets to hold it in place. Just kidding, you can't use magnets, it's stainless. So that's what we're working with, is that right there. Stainless steel with a plasma torch, it makes a horrendous mess, and it causes all kinds of sugaring as it blows through the metal. And that's why we're drawing the insides of these guys out. We're going to try to follow that line as close as possible with the plasma cutter. And that will leave us some metal. Then we can go in with a die grinder and clean all that burnt shit off of there. So I'm going to use the end of my water table right here. Here's what stainless steel looks like when you cut it. When you cut it, it's just with a plasma torch, it just makes a mess, and it's all sugary in it. And this stuff, as it cuts through, it'll spray off and hit whatever's behind it, and it'll melt to it a lot of times. So, so I cut mine in water, and that way when that stuff sprays past it, it automatically, you know, solidifies and just drops kind of like dust down to the bottom of the table, and it doesn't cause a lot of crap on the inside that needs to be cleaned. If you don't have a way to do this, then you know, you have to figure out some way to put stuff inside that elbow to block all that stuff that's going to come off, so it doesn't get on the inside and you know, eventually end up in your turbo or whatever. I don't know. This could be the most dangerous thing in the world. I'm not sure, but I've done it a lot, and it works. Be sure to drop by my website, monkeyfabgarage.com, and check out those GLS Fab Unbreakable cups. They're pretty badass. They will break. I mean, they'll melt if you set them on fucking melting metal. It's made out of Teflon, but it's pretty good. I've had mine for a year now, and it's still going strong. Like I showed you over there, that's the inside of them, and we certainly can't weld that shit, so all that shit's got to come off. And So hopefully that's focusing and you guys can see we got all the metal that we cut all cleaned out. So that just cleans up the metal, gets all the just the scale finish, the casting stuff off there, and anything that we put on there while we were cleaning them up. So that is all the prep work. Now there's nothing to it but to do it. We're going to start by welding the V-bands onto our stubs. Like I said, this is just Schedule 10 stainless steel, and what I do is I throw it in a clamp, and that just helps give me something to work with. It also pulls heat out of the pieces I work, and allows me to hold, pulls it down, and I can get a purge on it. We'll do the old tin foil and this little hose with copper on it to purge it out. When I've talked about this before on my last V-band video, but what I like to do when I'm welding V-bands is I try to get my tungsten pointed up. So instead of pointing it at the intersection of the V-band and the pipe, what I'll do is I'll actually point at the pipe, and I'll let the pipe melt as I give it a little more amperage, and I'll see it spread into the flange. And as I see that happen, what I do is I feed it the filler wire, and I pull back until I see the filler start to touch the edge, the very edge of the flange, and then I move forward. I repeat it again. So I start melting the pipe. When I see it melt into the flange, I give it the filler, back up till the edge of the filler is parallel with the edge of the flange, move forward, and it's just this constant sewing machine action here.
Is it focused? Mm-hmm. Can you see?
Yeah.
So see, I'll just come forward, I'll put the filler in so it gets to the edge of the flange, and then I'll just move forward again. So it's just step, back, step, back, step, back, step, back. Just trying to focus on the rim of the flange there. But directing the heat up to the pipe and trying to keep it out of the flange as much as possible.
That stunner on Instagram tomorrow, dog. That one turned out pretty nice. You never tell if this thing's focused. We got our V-band welded on to our little stub, and now we just need to attach it to this guy here. I got this on the block. It's going to be back purged up through the block. The V-band's just kind of hold. It's just a fixture so I can weld around. I've got this guy closed off in the back, and on the top I punched a couple holes to let all the oxygen out, and that's it. So what we'll do is I'm gonna do this on 2 passes because this is really thick stuff, and I kind of want it to weld in really well. So we're gonna stay at 100 amps. It seems to be a good heat range for this. But we're going to do a pass where we're just autogenous welding it. We're just trying to let it join together, and then after that we'll go over it with filler and do it nice. We'll do a nice fat lay of filler on that to make sure that we're get a nice strong joint, because the wastegates hang off these things, and I always say the wastegate's like putting a weight at the end of a fulcrum. certified tungsten dipper. That's how you do it. You get these elbows from Verin at vsracing.net, and you get the flanges too. If you don't have them, they should come with your blow-off valves. And schedule 1.5 pipe, schedule 10 1.5 nominal pipe. You can pick up from Columbia River mandrel bins. They sell it there by the foot, and you can get this all together relatively cheap. You know, just spend your time. You know, putting it together. I showed you what I do to do it. I hope that helps you. If it does, and you like to support me, please go check out my website, monkeyfabgarage.com, or going on my Facebook page, monkeyfab garage, and give me a like there. We sell lots of welding stuff on there. I have Blue Demon welding supplies, fillers, tungstens, the fab cups, all that good stuff, and also have lots of fabrication parts. And I'm constantly trying to add more products. I got some neat stuff coming, so if you're building kits, turbo stuff and whatnot, jump on there, and there's lots of stuff you can find, and I'd really appreciate the support. Other than that, I think we covered this, and I'm Mike from Monkey Fab, signing out.